Simply put, no Parsons, no pressure.
That is probably the cringiest thing I've ever seen in the NFL.
Basically fighting for their life.
He's fully cooking at the minute.
Matchups literally just do not get any better than this. Welcome back to the Early Hours podcast. Two teams cemented their spot in the playoffs last week with another 12 still available for the taking. Before we dive into the episode today, guys, hit me with your outside shouts who could sneak into that wildcard spot.
It's the rightful kings of the NFC North. It's the Detroit Lions, baby.
No way. Wrong. Oliver,
They've got
no
it.
chance.
Save
it's
me.
The Ravens. It's the
Ravens is a good shout. I like
100%.
the Ravens. Cowboys for me.
No way.
Cowboys, 6-7-1, second in the NFC East, 1% chance to get in there. More than one words. But yeah, look, I like those odds. I really do. 1%, you've still got a chance. Monday Night Football, guys. Steelers, Dolphins, 28-15. The Steelers, they go 8-6 in the North. They're looking like a serious problem the way Rodgers is slinging that ball, especially, Oliver, for your shout with the Ravens.
You can't fault him. You really can't. Honestly, the last 2 weeks, 46 of 61. Top tier, 500 plus yards, 4 passing touchdowns, and a completion rate, wait for it, nearly 80%, 79.7 to be exact. The Steelers, they've now won 23 consecutive home games on Monday Night Football. They are flawless. That's
He's
mad,
back,
isn't
he?
It blew my
A-Rod's
mind.
back.
He's fully cooking at the minute, and contrary to my my Ravens shout as a potential outsider, I think the Steelers are a real problem. It's funny. The Steelers, the Texans, these outsiders, these teams that were on the fringe now really starting to cement themselves as playoff contenders.
I think the Steelers have been pretty solid over the year. Obviously, we've seen A-Rod improve, but to be fair to the Dolphins, they've done the same. They've finished on 6-8 at the minute. They're now knocked out of playoff contention, but they look not bad. Tua looked okay. We know there's now rumours about him potentially being dropped, which, if they're going to, get some fresh blood, they're not a bad idea. But Devon Achane did what he needed to do for the most part. But Kenneth Gainwell, I want to say, for the Steelers, both on the ground and in the pass game, it was just him and DK Metcalf was just too much for the Dolphins. But good game, probably better than I imagined, but the result we all expected. And the Steelers, they could cause some problems if A-Rod is on form in the playoffs.
I've got a stat for you here from Fox. So with that loss, the Dolphins, obviously, they're eliminated from the playoffs. That means Miami have not won a playoff game since the 2000s. That is crazy. 25 years. Obviously, they might have been in the playoffs, but they've not won one, and they will not be winning one this season either. Some Saturday night football coming up this week, guys. It's quite rare you get to say these sort of things. Eagles at the Commanders is the first game up. Jaden Daniels officially ruled out for the rest of the season, and the Eagles needing just the one win to top the East and secure playoff football. And then we've got the Packers at the Bears. Their second meeting in 3 weeks. Obviously, we spanked them last time out, but a lot has changed since then. How will this game be different?
Well, yeah, the Bears now sitting 10-4. We know that after a confident win over the Browns last week. Packers 9-4-1. And the losses, the cracks are starting to show potentially for the Packers here. And this could be Chicago's opportunity on home soil at Soldier Field to really take a commanding lead in that division. We know they've got that run game going. And yeah, if the Bears stay at the top of the picture, it's fair to say that they're not only in with the number one spot in the NFC North, but potentially the number one seed in the NFL. Need things to go their way, but it's still all on the cards.
We can't let them go 11-4. We can't let that happen.
Well, no, you say that, and look, if we win, we can overtake the Bears in the standings and we can gain that tiebreak advantage as well. That'll be really crucial when we've mounted those 2 wins over the Lions. If we can secure that extra win over the Bears, it really helps us in those divisional standings. So it boosts our chances, Goody, but it's going to be a tough ask. It really is. And
you sound like Michael Owen there. You say if we win, we win. If we don't win, we don't win. It's as simple as that. But yeah, I asked how will this game be different. You just mentioned Mike Parsons there, Christian Watson as well. A miraculous recovery since early reports in the week. His collarbone is not broken, but I doubt he will play. And then another big difference is Soldier Field. How will the Packers play in that stadium?
I think the stadium, if you're a Packers fan, you'd hope to get as many people there as possible. It's very possible that Jordan Love will be on a silent count, though. And probably the Bears, what they're best at is getting the turnovers. Plus 20 turnover differential, top of the entire NFL by some distance. You put that towards the Packers, who are 9th, which is, way, way, way in the top half. they're +3. The difference is just mad. So Jordan Love needs to be on point, and it's great news Christian Watson's back because he's a real good outlet, and without him, I think you'd think, if they could get pressure on Jordan, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, the silent count's going to hurt for the Packers.
And you mentioned that turnover differential. Well, the crucial point there, simply put, no Parsons, no pressure. So Caleb's going to have plenty of time on the ball, a lot of opportunity to extend plays, which we saw in the first game. He was just getting those pressures in his face. And if Jordan ends up coming off the field a little bit more because of those turnovers, who's there to get him back on the field? That's my concern.
It's going to be a really interesting and potentially upsetting Monday episode. We'll cover that game next week. Looking ahead then to the rest of the games on the Sunday slate. Look, we've got potentially the second biggest game of the week here. The Buccaneers at the Panthers. Both teams 7-7. They've been going blow for blow all season, and now it's time for them to meet and to see who's got the minerals. It's
Tampa Bay for me, and it is close, but they do rank in the top half of the league in defensive red zone touchdown percentage. So their ability to prevent those crucial plays when the team, their opponent has driven down the field is absolutely crucial. I also think, I don't know about you guys, but it comes down to ultimately whether Bryce Young decides to turn up, right? It can either be an unbelievable performance from him or it can be a pretty lackluster, which we saw last week. So yeah, a couple of factors at play, but I'm going to take the Bucs. That's my gut feeling in this.
I think Bryce actually could do this. He's been a bit of a bogey team for other games this season. He beat the Packers, for example. Then if the Bucs turn up like they did at SoFi when we saw them, guys, it's going to be no contest. I think the Panthers have got this.
I agree with you. I think the Panthers have got it. I think all the stats you can ever look at would point towards the Buccaneers. I think full strength, I think they're the better team by some distance. However, Bryce Young can be really good on his day. Rico Dowdle, I think he's fantastic. Chuba Hubbard, I think he's fantastic. And obviously we've said about Egbuka this season, McMillan's had 19 less yards than Egbuka over the season. He has been pretty much just as sort of special in what has been a hit and miss team in the Panthers earlier on in the season. So I've got the Panthers. I think the Bucs' form is just on such a downturn. Obviously, a loss to the Saints last week aside, I think they've looked good in the last month or two.
Yeah, definitely. All to play for, all eyes on that game. Elsewhere on Sunday, we've got the Chargers at the Cowboys. An important game for both sides here. We mentioned at the start of the episode, the Cowboys got a 1% chance of getting into the playoffs, so they are basically fighting for their life. And the Chargers, they're fighting for an AFC West top spot. And then we've got the Bills at the Browns. This one, not particularly all just about the playoffs, but some individual campaigns as well. Obviously, Myles Garrett needing just the one sack to reach that all-time season sack record. And then we've got Josh Allen as well, going for back-to-back MVPs. And then we've got the Jaguars at the Broncos. Both teams here, they finished third in their divisions last year. Now both teams are fighting for that playoff glory.
Who saw this coming?
Not me. I'm actually the Jags' #1 hater, so I'm so surprised to see them here. It's like that meme from The Office. You're like, whoa, why is Angela here?
Angela's on his shoulder. It's crazy. It is kind of, there's no surprise that we're so shocked at this. It's just a bit of an unpredictable, these two teams of all two teams. So yeah, Broncos 12-2, already clinched the playoffs as we know. Jags 10-4, they're leading the South. I think ultimately the Broncos do come out on top. However, Cohen's been an absolute stud, and the Jaguars, it's really key that they go for this. They need this to win the South. The Texans are breathing down their neck, and yet another division across the NFL that is tight, and every win counts at the minute.
Like Liam Cohen will probably never live down his Duval moment when he joined the Jags. That will probably live on forever, and that is probably the cringiest thing I've ever seen in the NFL. However, he's turned a team from the last year who were 4-13 into a 10-win team, which, let's be fair, is pretty phenomenal. We can talk about how they've played, who they've played, but a massive improvement. And I don't know if this kind of reflects on how good he's been or how poor the Jaguars are, but he's only 4 wins away for Gus Bradley's record for the 5th all-time wins as a head coach in Jacksonville. He's had 14 games. So I don't know what that tells you, but yeah, he's doing a really good job, and the Jaguars are so much improved. But unfortunately for the boys, I'm going Denver. Sorry, lads.
It tells you that London are very unfortunate to have them as their home team. That's what it tells you.
Yeah, especially after that loss to the Rams. They didn't look good at all. But then again, guess who else didn't look good in London? It was the Broncos. They looked shocking. They've looked shocking against the Raiders as well, and that is why I'm saying the Jags are going to win this game. Hands down, way more consistent. and that's coming from me. So, give me the Jags, and that's not because I'm bitter that the Packers lost to the Broncos last week. Then, to round out the Sunday slate, we've got the Steelers at the Lions. Both teams here currently 8-6, but as we've kind of alluded to all episode, one division's 8-6 is safety, the other's is third place.
I'm going to go with Steelers win. I think this is going to be a really, really, really tight matchup. I think it's going to be gritty. I think it's going to be quite brutal. We're going to see both quarterbacks who, similar in their mobility, could suffer from some tough sacks, a really tough night. I just hope there's no injuries because they're both two really exciting teams that could add to the playoff mix. They just simply put, they need this. They need it. We're in that stage of the season where playoff hopes are right on the line. You know, Rodgers fighting for another shot at the postseason, and I just fancy the Steelers in this. I fancy the form that Aaron's found with DK, the opportunities that he's now finding with MVS. There's talks of Alan Lazar, who's just been released from the Jets. Could he find a new home at the last minute, now free agent? So no impact there. He can be picked up whenever. I just fancy it. Go Steelers. Let's go.
Well, all I'll say is, in the words of Will Ferrell, similarly, Tuna could get a taste for Lion, but I think Lion could get a taste for Steel here. Jared Goff, Jameer
and other
Gibbs,
guys' reference. I love it.
Amon-Ra St. Brown against, let's have a look at the other side of the ball. Aaron Rodgers has been great. Give me Jared Goff all day. Give me Gibbs all day. Give me St. Brown all day. It's the Lions, the 9-6 this time next week, boys.
I'm so sorry. I'm still hung up on that. We had the Office and the other guys in this podcast already. Give me the Steelers. You got to back A-Rod, and I can't root for the Lions.
These are two Packers fans right here, guys.
Well, I can't. Would you believe? But honestly, if the Lions play their cards right and we lose to the Bears and then the Vikings, we're in serious trouble. So
that's why they're my pick, mate.
We need to be rooting for the Steelers where we can.
It's a team that, don't forget, they're currently only sat with a 36% chance of making the playoffs, the Lions. If they win, it drastically improves their odds. I think it goes up to just shy of 60. So it really mounts that pressure. And the only saving grace for us is we beat them twice as the Packers. That's a massive, massive advantage. But you look at the remaining schedules, specifically in the North, and they actually have probably the easiest schedule. It's fair to say. They've got the Bears, so there's similarities there between the Bears and themselves, obviously crossing paths. But yeah, it really is. It's teeing up nicely for the Lions if they can pull this out of the bag.
Yeah, definitely. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But tonight's bridge, Thursday Night Football, we've got the big one. It's a massive NFC West clash here between two of the best teams in the league. It's the Rams at the Seahawks. Both are 11-3. Both are capable of winning the Super Bowl this season. But can they beat each other? JSN versus Nakua, Stafford versus Darnold. Enough said.
For me, the Seahawks have to stop. We spoke about the Bucs in the red zone and their efficiency. The Seahawks have to be able to shut down plays in the red zone. It's becoming really quite leaky for a defense that we spoke about all year. So efficient, so disruptive, picks, fumbles, tackles for loss. But when they let teams get to that latter end of the field, right in the heart of their red zone, 84.2% of those drives are getting in. That is just, it's not going to be good enough. And I'd hate to see all the hard work of JSN on an unbelievable year and Sam Darnold, again, pushing, striving for greatness off the back of a tough start to his career, just be let down. Again, the Rams on the other side of the ball, we know how dangerous they are. If you come up against a team like that, giving 84% chance in the red zone, it's not going to go well for you. So I'm going to go with the Rams. I've got to. But I'd like to see the Seahawks make things interesting.
I completely agree. I've got the Rams. What I would say is we know in the reverse fixture is 21-19 to the Rams. That included four Sam Darnold interceptions, and they missed a very long-range field goal to win it at the end. So if the Rams let them hang around, especially at Lumen Field, the Seahawks will win. They have the capability. We saw it against the Colts last week. They just have the capability to get over the line. If they can clean a few things up, the Seattle Seahawks could win this. What is worth mentioning, the Rams play the Falcons and the Cardinals. Obviously, no games are easy, but they're such heavy favourites to win the NFC if they win this weekend.
We saw the Rams, obviously, at SoFi, but the problem with this one is they're not at the Rams' house. I think the Seahawks have got this, and the Rams could be suffering from some complacency here. They have reached the playoffs already. Is that going to affect their game plan now that they know they are nice and safe? Who knows? But yeah, we've got JSN Nakua here, wide receiver 1 and 2 in fantasy. Matchups literally just do not get any better than this. One to watch tonight for sure. Guys, a quick show of hands as well. Who made it into our fantasy playoffs this week? There's one hand up, and from that one, we move on. So let us know who you've got for Thursday Night Football and the rest of the games this week. We will catch you again on Monday. Things are heating up. We'll see you then.